Hi guys, I'm Gorang. I'm the CTO and co-founder at Bonzo. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about HCS 20 points.
And I'm Gerbert the Grelf. I live in a stump home in the Enchanted Forest, and I'm going to be trying to understand the stuff that this guy tells me.
Amazing. Cool. So yeah, welcome to our video series. And we want to start this video series called Explain Like I'm Grelf. And in this series, I'll be talking about some technical topics on Hedera and related Hedera related blockchain and other stuff there. The best part about this series is I'm going to explain these topics to you so that we make it approachable for normies and non-technical people as well. So see, Grelf, you exist on a blockchain, you are a meme coin, but you don't know anything about blockchain, do you?
That is true. I don't know much about these cryptocurrent sneezes or the crypto networks in general.
So I guess you won't know much about HCS and HCS 20. Is that correct?
Well, what the heck is that?
HCS 20, don't worry. So by the end of this series, by the end of this video, you will be an expert on HCS 20. How does that sound?
Is that going to hurt?
No, that won't hurt at all.
Okay, good. All right, I was worried about this one.
Amazing. So let me start by explaining what is HCS on a high level. Yeah, so Hedera provides a service called HCS where you can send messages to this service, and it's a decentralized and trust-based service. So a message can be anything, right? A message can be, you can say hello, you can say bye, you can say anything in a message. But the benefit of having something like HCS is that it has a very high throughput. What that means is you can do thousands of transactions per second, and these messages can be used by dApps and other smart contracts to take some actions and do a lot of things on that.
That's a lot of messages. Do they need to be that fast? I mean, how many different ways of saying hi do you need?
Yeah, so saying hi is just one use case, but you can say a lot of things in those messages, right? So these messages could be invoices, these messages could be your emails, these messages could be these could be your SMSs as well, right? So a message can be anything really. And the reason it needs to be high throughput is that it can cater to a lot of use cases. It can cater to a lot of different products and enterprise use cases as well,
Well, what's a use case?
So one of the use cases is giving out something like points, and we'll be talking about that today later in this video. So points, essentially, you can give out loyalty points, you can give out points in a game, you can give out points in a DeFi app. So you can give up, you can do a lot of things with that. Yeah.
So it's like a video game?
Yeah. You can give out points in a video game, you can give out some loyalty. You can record anything, literally, using these messages. And because they are so fast and cheap, it's really cool.
I mean, I'm excited to learn more.
Cool. So that's about HCS. And then HCS 20 is a standard that is built on HCS, right? So HCS 20 is a standard which gives you a format for these messages. And because of this standard, these messages can be audited, and you can have a lot of things going into these messages. So let me share my screen and show what these messages really mean. Yeah.
So why is it 20? Why did these people settle on 20? Why not 10 or 1?
You might know that on Ethereum, which is another blockchain, there's a very popular token standard called ERC20, and they wanted something similar, so they, I think, named it HCS20.
So they copied them.
They're not copying them. They are getting inspired from that standard, I would say.
Okay, plagiarism, inspiration, very similar.
You know the saying, right? Good artists steal and great artists copy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's get into the HCS 20 standard. So before we go more into the standard, there are two important concepts we need to understand. The first one is about a private message and a public message. So on HCS as a whole, you have something called a topic ID, and you send messages to a topic ID. So public topic ID is a topic ID which has no submit key. And what that means is anyone can send messages to a public topic ID. But a private topic ID is a topic ID which has a submit key. What that means is only certain people, essentially only a certain account or a certain wallet, which holds that key, is allowed to send messages to a private topic ID.
Okay, so if you're sending a message to, everybody that lives around you, you're going to use the public one, right?
Exactly.
If you're sending a message to the ladies, that's the private one.
Not really, because even a private topic ID, the messages can be seen by anyone. It can be read by anyone. The only difference is that I can send a message to a lady if it's a private topic ID in your use case, but you won't be able to send a message to that lady, for example.
Oh, okay. So, out the competition. I got you.
Exactly. I have more control over the topic IDs. I have more control over the messages, and then someone like Grelf cannot come and steal.
Oh, well, I don't know how afraid you have to be of that, but it's good to take precaution.
Oh yeah, obviously. So, and in the HCS 20 standard, a message has to be formatted in a certain way. So when you send a message to HCS, and if you want to comply with the HCS 20 standards, you have to create something like a JSON object like this. And this JSON object needs to have certain attributes or certain fields. So the first one is like a P, which is called protocol identifier, which is HCS 20 in this case. Then you need to have something called OP, which is an operation type, a name for this point, tick, which is a unique identifier, max, supply, limit, and metadata, and memo. So yeah, so if you want to comply with the HCS 20 standard, your message needs to comply with this certain format. Also, what is important is in HCS, there are 4 operations that you can do. The first one is deploy points. You can mint points, you can burn points, and you can also transfer points to other people, other accounts. What is very important is that before you start minting points, you need to deploy points with a certain tick, essentially a certain identifier. So if you don't deploy points first, then minting will throw errors. So minting won't be possible. Does that make sense?
Does the tick hurt? Does it suck all your blood out, or?
No, not at all. So tick
It's a friendly tick.
is a unique. Yeah, it's a very friendly tick. It's like a unique identifier. So let's say, Grelf, you want to send a message to someone, one of your friends, saying, "Hey, I want to start this new kind of a thread with you, or I want to start this new correspondence with you." You can say, "Hey, I'm sending this message with a tick called ELF1 or ELF2." And if you keep using that tick, all the HCS 20 points get appended to that thread in a way. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, that makes sense. So you basically your tick keeps all that stuff together in one place.
Exactly. It's like an envelope which keeps all the messages together.
That's one useful tick. It's not like the ticks I run into.
Absolutely. So yeah, the first operation is you deploy points, then you can start minting points. You can burn points. So when you burn points on HCS 20, the way it works is you cannot really delete messages, right? But so let's say you start a tick called ELF1, and then you send like 2 messages, or you start giving out 10 points and 20 points and 30 points to this ELF1. And now if you want to delete points, or if you want to reduce the points, what you do is you send another message saying, I want to burn 10 points. So in this case, the earlier messages are not deleted, but if you combine all the messages together, it becomes 10 plus 10 minus 10. So the total number of points now are 10. Make sense?
10 plus 10
minus 10.
Minus 10. That's 10.
Yeah, that's 10. Exactly.
My gosh, hey, people say I can't do mathematics. I can do all the mathematics you throw at me if someone says the answer before.
Now, next question for you. What happens when I want to transfer these 10 points? So what if you transfer these 10 points to someone else like me? then how many points are you left with?
Well, that would be zero.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I'd have no points.
You'd have no points, exactly. So now you're left with no points. Uh, so now you might ask a question, what is the use of giving out all these points? Who are giving out all these points, and why are these points being given out?
Yeah, why are these points important?
Yeah. So let's talk about a few projects, real life projects, which are using these HCS 20 points. But before we even go there, let's talk about the points ecosystem in general, right? So on other blockchains, other blockchain ecosystems like Ethereum or Solana, all the Ethereum L1s and L2s, a lot of DeFi projects, a lot of NFT projects give out points as loyalty programs, right? So let's say there's a new L1 coming up and they want to reward their users for using the L1, or they want to provide them with some loyalty rewards, for example, right? What they do is they give out points to these people. These points inherently don't have a value, but these points could potentially sometimes convert to 20 tokens, which have a value. So yeah, points could be considered as a precursor to something valuable. Sometimes they might be worthless. Sometimes they might be valuable.
So why exactly would somebody want to do these points on HCS 20 instead of just just writing them down?
Yep, that's a great question. That's what other people have been doing. So on other ecosystems like Ethereum and Solana, these projects, they give out points which are just stored in a database, centralized database. And that's why there is no transparency. No one knows how these points are distributed. No one knows how many points are being distributed. And it's all like a black box, really.
Well, that
But
sounds good. I mean, as if you don't like some guy, you could just take his points away and nobody would even know.
exactly. And then you're left with 0 points, just like you are. So in this video, you have
Well, if
zero
it happens
points.
to me, that would be bad. But I mean, if I'm doing it to that guy who was mean, that's good.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we don't want happening, right? And that's why if you use something like H20, then these points are completely auditable and verifiable because these points are given out in HCS20. It's very cheap. So, for example, I'll give you an example. Bonzo itself, which is my project, we give out points on a daily basis. So, all the users who supply some liquidity on Bonzo, we give out points to them based on the dollar amount that they are supplying. And we give out these points every 24 hours. And this is all publicly verifiable and publicly auditable on HCS. And that's really cool, right? Because no one can really fake giving out these points. No one can take away the points from you without everyone knowing. Yeah?
How much does it cost to give out points?
That's the best part about it. It's very cheap. So it costs just a few HBAR to give out give out points to like hundreds of users a day. And that's less than $1 or so.
Okay, 1 HBAR is less than $1. Hopefully not for long.
That's why we want to cheer up. But that's a separate conversation, I would say. So yeah, that was one example. Bonzo giving out points. These points may or may not convert to tokens. Most likely they'll inform the tokens, how many tokens are given out to users. But that's just one example. Then we have some other projects in the ecosystem. So for example, Rooster Cartel, they are a bunch of NFTs. And Rooster Cartel also uses HCS20 to give out points for their customers. So let's say when someone buys their sauce online, they give out points as a loyalty incentive for these people. So that's one example. Another example is with Defiant NFT. So Tierbot, they have something called Defiant Points, and they will soon be moving their points to HCS20. They'll be migrating them to HCS20. So yeah, there are a few projects on Hedera already who are using these points. Yeah, any questions on that?
Sure. Do you think that way more peeps are going to be using these points as time goes on?
Yeah, that's the hope, right? Because we want as many people to be using HCS20 points as possible. Not just that. So the best part about using HCS20 is you don't need to be on Hedera. So projects on other ecosystems like Ethereum or Solana, they can also use HCS20 to give out points. See, points, HCS is nothing but a service where you send messages and read messages, right? At the end of the day, it's not a blockchain really. So yeah, any other blockchain apps can also use this point system. It's quite cool.
I mean, it is pretty cool. That way they don't have to, if they don't like Hedera, they don't even know.
Exactly. Cool. Yeah. So that's all it was about points. Just to mention, I didn't tell you who created this HCS 20 standard. So this HCS 20 standard was created by Patches and other people in the community. Patches was the lead developer for this, and it also comes under the Hashgraph Online DAO. So Bonzo, which is my project, is also a part of Hashgraph Online DAO, and they have been supporting this standard heavily. So yeah, kudos to them.
What's Hashgraph Online DAO?
Graph Online DAO is something called a DAO, and we'll be talking about DAO in some of our next videos. I'll explain to you what DAO is in those videos, but just in layman's terms, a DAO is a combination or a collection of community members or community participants who come together and try to organize and govern things in a decentralized manner. So DAO lives on blockchain. So DAO is kind of like a corporation. It's kind of like a company, but it is not registered anywhere per se. It exists on the blockchain in the form of smart contracts. Did I confuse you even more? I think you got more confused.
I'm pretty much always in a state of confusion, but I think it sounds like a bunch of guys who make decisions.
Exactly, in a decentralized and autonomous manner. We'll talk about that more in some of our next videos. And just for our listeners, you can go and check out our project Bonzo at app.bonzo.finance and start providing some liquidity there. And do you want to talk about your project, Greg?
Well, I don't really have a bunch of control over it. It's one of them meme coins. It's like the big meme coin on Hedera. Some guy like randomly approached me, and he had a dark hood on, and he said, "Hey, do you want your face to be the face of a meme coin?" And I said, "Huh?" And then he took the signature from my soul, and then basically it's been going ever since. But it's pretty cool. If you want to learn more about it, and by learn more, I really mean just look at some memes. You can go to grelf.me, because that's me, the Grelf.
Amazing. Great. Thanks, Grel, for coming on the video and trying to understand more about blockchain concepts. So yeah, I hope to see you in some of our next videos then.
I hope to be here. I learned a lot today. I even learned why they didn't call it HCS 10.
Amazing. Great then. Thank you so much.
Thank you.